Have you ever wondered why life hurts so much sometimes? Why certain pains keep coming back, even when all you want is peace? And have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, the pain you are carrying is not here to break you, but to shape you into someone stronger, softer, and wiser? Imagine this. Think about the time when you cut your hand by accident. It hurt, it stung, but as days passed, that same wound slowly healed. The skin became new, tougher, and left you with a memory that taught you to be more careful. Could it be that, just like that small cut, the deep pains of the heart are also paths toward healing, even if we cannot see it right away? Welcome, dear one, to Wisdom Woven. This is the place where we gently try to see life in a new way, where we breathe into the struggles and slowly uncover the meaning behind our wounds. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.3% subscribes, so please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your one small action can give us the strength to keep bringing you these soulful reflections, and it helps build a family where wisdom flows warmly between us all. In Buddhism, pain is not seen simply as something to run from. It is considered a teacher. The Buddha himself spoke about suffering as the first noble truth, reminding us that pain is woven into life itself. But what if that truth is less of a punishment and more of an invitation? Every time we hurt, life is whispering to us, look closer, understand deeper. Pain points to where love, kindness, and awakening are waiting to grow. When we ignore our suffering, we only make it heavier. But when we sit with it, breathe with it, and ask, "What do you want me to learn?" suddenly pain becomes lighter. A person who learns to face heartbreak will often discover compassion for others. Someone who struggles with failure may gain wisdom that success alone could never offer. Pain shapes us quietly, like water shaping stone. So as we start this journey together, remember this. Your pain is not your enemy. It is part of your healing. Stay with me till the end, because in every moment of hurt lies a hidden key, one that can open you to freedom, compassion, and strength you never imagined you carried within. In the quiet moments, when the world seems to slow down just for a breath, that's when pain speaks most clearly. It does not shout or demand, but it whispers softly, like the wind through the leaves on a calm day. The pain inside you is like a silent teacher, coming gently to sit beside you, inviting you to learn the lessons you might have missed while running away from yourself. Imagine it not as something cruel or unkind, but as a wise friend who only wants to guide you toward deeper understanding, to help you see the parts of life you might otherwise overlook. This is the wisdom that lightens the heaviest burdens. When pain is silent, do not fear its quiet voice. It teaches you to be still, to listen with your heart instead of reacting with fear or anger. Just like when a river flows slowly, or a lotus opens softly in the dawn, the silence of your pain is an invitation to pause, to look inside. Pain wears many faces. Sometimes it shows up as sadness, sometimes as loneliness, sometimes as confusion. Yet behind all these faces is a simple truth. Pain is pointing you toward your own true self, the self that holds strength, compassion, and peace even in the darkest of times. In the teachings of the Buddha, the silent teacher is not something to fight or escape. Pain is part of the natural flow of life, like the changing seasons or the rising and setting sun. When you stop struggling against it, when you stop pushing it away, pain stops being a shadow that follows you and instead becomes a mirror showing you what you need to see. It shows you where your heart might be closed and where it might bloom with forgiveness and acceptance. This is the deep transformation that lies within pain's quiet presence. Sometimes the first step is simply to notice the pain without trying to fix it. This can be the hardest thing, because as human beings, we want so much to feel happy and comfortable all the time. But the Buddha teaches that suffering itself holds the seed of awakening. When you learn to sit with your pain, like sitting with a friend who has come to share a story, you begin to understand that pain is part of being truly alive. It tells you that you are human, that you care, and that you have the capacity to heal. The silent teacher asks for your attention without judgment. It asks you to hold your suffering gently, like holding a fragile flower, knowing it is fragile but precious. You begin to realize that when you give your pain this tender space, it no longer controls you. Instead, it becomes part of the larger story of your life. A story where you are the brave hero learning to walk through the storm without losing your light. This light is your compassion, for yourself and for all beings who share the same human experience. There is a simple meditation practice that can help you connect with this silent teacher. When you feel pain rising, find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and breathe slowly. Instead of pushing the pain away, try saying quietly inside, "I see you. I am here with you." Let yourself feel the sensations, the emotions, the heaviness or the tightness in your body. Don't try to change them. Just watch them with kindness. Over time, you may notice the pain softening, becoming less sharp, less frightening. It begins to teach you about impermanence, the truth that all feelings, even the deepest sadness, come and go like waves on the ocean. Your pain is teaching you patience too. In a world that moves so quickly, being patient with your suffering is a radical act of kindness toward yourself. Patience means allowing yourself to heal in your own time, without pressure or shame. When you do this, your heart learns that it is safe to open again. The silent teacher is also the teacher of trust. Trust that life, with all its ups and downs, is guiding you exactly where you need to be. Even when you cannot see the path clearly, pain is a signpost pointing toward your own awakening. There is a story in Buddhist tradition about a man who carried a heavy burden on his back. Day after day, he walked through the forest, growing more and more tired. One day, he decided to stop and open the burden he carried, only to discover that inside was a beautiful treasure. The burden, he realized, was the treasure he had been protecting all along. Your pain is like that treasure, hidden beneath the weight of suffering but full of wisdom, courage, and love waiting to be found. Pain also teaches humility. It shows you that no one, no matter how strong or wise, can escape suffering. This shared human experience connects us all. When you embrace your pain with humility, you begin to open your heart to others without fear or judgment. You remember that everyone is carrying unseen struggles, and this understanding softens your relationships and deepens your compassion. In the silence of pain, you can hear the gentle call toward healing. Healing is not about forgetting or pretending that nothing happened. It is about growing stronger through your wounds. It is about accepting that pain is part of life's dance and learning how to move with it gracefully. The silent teacher never asks for perfection, only for your willingness to learn and grow. As the cracks appear in your heart from pain, light starts to shine through. This light is your true nature, your Buddha nature, the unbroken part of you that is always whole, always at peace beneath the surface waves of sorrow and joy. When you listen deeply to the silent teacher of pain, you begin to recognize this light inside yourself. It is the light that guides you back to love, back to kindness, back to peace. So today, remember, the quiet pain inside you is not a curse but a gift. It is a doorway, a gentle guide, a silent teacher leading you toward freedom. Do not run from it or silence it. Welcome it as a part of your path. Let its quiet voice be your teacher, and you will find that you are not broken, but beautifully becoming. The river of pain flows through you, but it never defines you. Beyond the river lies the calm shore of your true self, peaceful, loving, and free. In our journey through life, suffering touches each one of us in many different ways. It is part of the human experience, something we all share, yet often struggle to understand. In Buddhism, this suffering is known as dukkha, a word that holds deep meaning beyond just pain or sadness. It points to the natural state of life that includes discomfort, change, and loss. But what if, instead of fearing this suffering, we could learn to see it clearly and understand it as the very doorway to awakening? Every moment you feel sadness, disappointment, or grief, life is teaching you about the impermanence of things. Nothing stays the same. Feelings rise and fall like the waves of the sea. This is the nature of suffering. It arises because we cling tightly to things, whether it be people, feelings, or ideas, that are always changing. When those things shift or disappear, pain follows. This is not a punishment, but a gentle reminder of life's flow, urging us to practice letting go with love and kindness. Think of suffering as a teacher who shows you exactly where your attachments lie. These attachments may be hopes for how life should be, expectations of others, or even how you think you should be. When you hold these tightly, pain deepens. But when you recognize this, a new path opens. You realize that freedom lies not in holding on, but in learning to open your hands and heart, even when it's hard. The Buddha taught that suffering has a cause. It is not random or meaningless. It arises from craving and ignorance, from wanting things to be different than they are. This craving makes us forget the truth of our situation, causing us to feel trapped and restless. By seeing this truth clearly, you begin to loosen the grip of pain. You see that the root of suffering is not the world itself, but how we relate to it. This understanding gives you power, not over life's challenges, but over your response to them. You start to see that you don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Instead, you can become a wise traveler on the path, learning how to walk gently with suffering, knowing it can lead you to incredible growth. The truth is, pain and joy dance together. They are two sides of the same coin. When we resist one, we also resist the other. The nature of suffering also reminds us that life is fragile and precious. When we touch our own pain honestly, we deepen our appreciation for the joyful moments. This dynamic balance between joy and sorrow opens the heart to compassion, both for ourselves and for others. We begin to understand that every person carries hidden sorrows, and this understanding breaks down walls of loneliness and separation. To live with this wisdom means to embrace vulnerability. Vulnerability is not weakness. Rather, it is the birthplace of courage and connection. When you allow yourself to feel your pain fully without hiding, you develop a warmth and tenderness that touches others deeply. The heart softens, and pain loses some of its sharpness. It becomes a doorway to kindness. Kindness toward yourself and kindness toward the world. The Buddha's teachings offer practical ways to explore this understanding. Meditation and mindfulness are not just peaceful exercises. They are tools for seeing suffering clearly and holding it with loving attention. When you practice sitting quietly and gently observing your feelings without judgment, you create a safe space inside. This space nurtures healing and helps pain transform into insight. Pain teaches you to be present. It calls you to stop rushing through life and instead breathe deeply into each moment, the pleasant and the unpleasant alike. As you practice this presence, you notice how suffering shifts its form and intensity. Sometimes it softens, and sometimes it feels as though it will overwhelm you. But by staying present, you learn that no feeling is permanent. The nature of suffering also calls for patience. Healing, growth, and understanding unfold at their own pace. Sometimes it feels slow or even stalled, but your patient heart learns to trust the process, knowing that each small step matters. You realize that even the simplest act of kindness toward yourself during painful times is a powerful medicine. Suffering, when understood deeply, is like a master sculptor. It carves away illusions and brings forth your true shape beneath. It reveals the preciousness of life and the interconnectedness of all beings. This awareness helps you let go of pride, fear, and frustration, opening you to a life lived with freedom and joy. As you walk this path, you also discover the importance of community. Sharing your pain with trusted friends or Sangha provides support and reminds you that you are not alone. Buddhist teachings often emphasize the joy of walking the path together, learning from one another's experiences and growing side by side. We sometimes forget that suffering not only belongs to our personal story, but also to the larger story of humanity. Recognizing this shared experience can ignite a deep compassion that moves beyond words. It can inspire actions that ease the suffering of others, creating ripples of kindness that reach far beyond what we can see. In this understanding of suffering, there is no need to shrink back or deny the pain. Instead, you are invited to meet it with honesty and courage. You learn that suffering is not something to escape, but to embrace as a sacred part of your spiritual journey. It is through this sacred embrace that pain is finally transformed, not erased, but woven into the fabric of your wisdom and love. So, when you find yourself caught in the grip of suffering, remember this: pain is not your enemy. It is the nature of life itself, teaching you the deepest truths about yourself and the world. It calls you to awaken, to open your heart, and to live fully with both joy and sorrow as your companions. In this delicate balance, you find your true freedom and your true peace. Pain and suffering often feel like cracks breaking us apart, don't they? Yet, in these very cracks, there is a secret. Light can come in. Just like when a clay pot is broken into pieces, the very places where it's cracked can become the openings for new beauty to shine through. This is a deep truth in life and in the spirit, that sometimes when we feel broken, we are only opening the door for healing and growth. If we can only learn to see it that way. Imagine the earth after a rainstorm. It appears messy, cracked, and unsettled. Yet, through those cracks, seeds find their way to the surface, ready to grow into new life. The cracks are not signs of defeat. They are the invitation for something fresh, something alive and full of possibility. In our own lives, the tough moments, our failures, heartbreaks, disappointments, these moments break open the hardened shell of comfort and illusion, allowing new light to touch us. The Buddhist teaching gives us a deep insight here. Suffering is not just punishment or hardship. It is the very cracking open of our old selves. It's the breaking apart of what no longer serves us so that a truer, freer self can emerge. This cracking may feel painful, yes, but it is also the gateway to awakening. Like the lotus flower that grows through mud and darkness, our deepest growth often comes from the hardest challenges. These cracks teach us humility and patience alike. When we are broken, we are reminded that we cannot carry all burdens alone. We learn to ask for help, to lean into others, and to accept kindness. The cracks expose our vulnerabilities, but they also make room for connection. Connection not just to others but to ourselves, toward a deeper honesty and love. This openness creates space inside us where healing begins to flow. One of the greatest fears is to be broken and seen as weak. Yet, Do you see how true strength is found through embracing your cracks rather than hiding them? When you allow yourself to be broken open by pain, you are giving your soul a chance to grow beyond its limits. The cracks make you real, they make you human. And in that humanity lies a power that is more beautiful than perfection. The cracks also teach us about impermanence, the understanding that nothing lasts forever, not pain, not joy, not even the self we think we are. When something in your life falls apart, it can feel like the end. But in truth, it is also the beginning. It is the chance to rebuild with more wisdom, more compassion, more gentleness. Transformation comes slowly, like the dawn breaking after the longest night. When you look deeply into your cracks, you may find unexpected gifts hidden there. Perhaps it is a deeper compassion for others' suffering. Perhaps it is a new patience for your own mistakes and struggles. Maybe it is a greater clarity about what truly matters in life. The cracks allow light, yes, but they also allow insight. The insight that pain need not be wasted, but can be used to awaken your heart. In Buddhist thought, the cracks are part of the path to enlightenment. The journey is not about hiding your wounds or pretending to be unbreakable. It's about cleaning those cracks with mindfulness and loving attention, letting the light in, and allowing the healing to unfold naturally. There is no need to rush or force the process. Every crack is unique, and so is every healing journey. Consider the Japanese art of kintsugi, the practice of repairing broken pottery with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they are filled with precious metal and celebrated as part of the object's history. This teaches us that our cracks and scars are not defects but treasures. They make our story richer, more valuable, and beautifully authentic. You are like that pottery. Your cracks are not your shame. They are your gold. Pain cracks open our pride and illusions. It shows us the limits of control and the need for surrender. This surrender does not mean giving up, but rather letting go of the fight against reality as it is. When we accept what we cannot change, we open the door for peace to enter. The cracks become places where peace can grow. Peace not based on circumstances, but on deep inner acceptance. Each crack invites you to deepen your mindfulness, the careful observation of what is happening inside and outside without judgment. When you pay attention to your suffering without pushing it away, you begin to see its true nature. You realize it is not permanent, not all-powerful. It is simply part of the present moment, like the wind or the rain passing through. This awareness lightens the burden of pain. The cracks teach the path of compassion, not just outward compassion, but most importantly inward compassion. When you see your brokenness, do not turn away or judge yourself harshly. Instead, place your hands gently over your heart and say, "It is okay. I am here for you." This kind gaze is the beginning of healing. It nourishes the soul and slowly mends the cracked places with kindness. Healing through cracks is a gradual process. Sometimes the cracks widen before they begin to close. Sometimes the pain feels raw and unbearable. Through it all, keep returning to your breath, your presence, your heart. Trust that the difficult times are not the whole story. There is more waiting for you beyond the cracks. One of the beautiful teachings from Buddhism is that nothing is fixed, nothing is permanent. If your heart is cracked now, it will also mend, reshape, and blossom. This is the natural flow of life. The cracks are just the beginning of a beautiful transformation. A transformation from pain to wisdom, from suffering to compassion, and from fear to love. No matter how deep your cracks feel, remember this: light is always waiting to shine through. You do not need to hide or fix yourself before you can find peace. Peace is already inside you, waiting patiently behind the cracked walls, ready to bloom. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Your cracks are the openings where your healing begins, and your true self shines most brightly. So, walk gently into your pain, look deeply into your cracks, and open your heart to the light that waits there. You are becoming more whole with every step. Every crack, every wound, every sorrow is a part of your beautiful, unfolding story. And you are more loved and more alive than you know. Pain is a teacher that can be difficult to understand. It asks so much from us: our courage, our patience, our kindness. But one of the biggest lessons it offers is the difference between resisting pain and allowing it to be. Resisting pain is like trying to stop the ocean's waves with your hands. The harder you push, the more you tire yourself out, and the waves keep coming. Allowing pain, on the other hand, is like learning to float with the waves, moving with their rhythm instead of fighting against them. This does not mean giving up, but rather surrendering to the flow of life with open arms and an open heart. Many people spend their lives trying to push away uncomfortable feelings: anger, sadness, loneliness, failure. This resistance is natural because pain feels unbearable at times. We want to feel safe and happy, and pain seems to threaten that. But what if this resistance is what makes suffering feel so much worse? When we resist pain, we often add a second layer of suffering: the suffering of struggling against something that cannot be controlled. Acceptance, in this sense, is not weakness. It is a deep and powerful way of meeting life exactly as it is. Allowing pain to be does not mean you accept defeat or lose hope. It means you stop fighting the reality of your feelings in this moment. You allow yourself the space to feel fully, without judgment or hurry. This kind of welcoming happens through mindfulness, a simple practice of paying attention to what is inside you and around you without trying to change it. When you become a gentle witness to your own pain, you create room for healing to happen. In Buddhist teachings, this practice of acceptance is called letting go. It is not the same as giving up. Imagine holding a precious bird too tightly. Your love makes you want to keep it safe, but the tight grip can hurt the bird and stop it from flying. Letting go means loosening your hands just enough for the bird to soar freely, knowing that love sometimes means trust and release. When we let go of our grip on how things should be, we open ourselves to possibilities we could never have imagined. Resisting pain often comes from fear. The fear that if we feel the pain fully, it will consume us. But the truth of suffering is that it cannot last forever. Like a storm, it comes and goes. When we allow ourselves to be present with pain, we find the strength to ride out the storm rather than being tossed helplessly. This courage grows with practice, like the steady beat of a drum reminding us that we can face whatever comes and survive. The body also holds pain, and allowing it can mean simply noticing the sensations without trying to push them away. When you feel tightness in your chest or heaviness in your shoulders, see if you can breathe gently into those spaces. Such tender attention can transform tension into relaxation. It says to your body, "I am here with you. You are safe." This is the quiet power of acceptance. Another way pain teaches is by showing us the limits of control. We cannot control every event in life, nor can we control how others treat us or the sudden sorrows that come our way. But we can control how we respond. Resisting pain is often an attempt to hold on to control, while allowing pain is learning to live skillfully with uncertainty. This skillfulness is the heart of Buddhist wisdom, a deep sense of peace that exists even when life is difficult. It may feel strange at first to welcome discomfort, sadness, or fear. The mind often resists, telling stories to distract or escape. But by gently returning to the present moment again and again, you weaken these stories and strengthen your connection to what is real here and now. Acceptance is a practice, a way of being that does not come overnight, but grows quietly with patience. When we allow pain, we also invite insight. Insight means seeing with clarity, understanding the nature of our feelings and the patterns that bind us. We begin to see how resisting pain creates endless cycles of suffering, and how acceptance can open a window into freedom. This freedom is not freedom from pain, but freedom through pain. The ability to be with life fully, without numbing or escape. Allowing pain means trusting yourself, trusting that you can meet your feelings without being overwhelmed. Trusting that beneath the waves of sorrow lies a calm ocean waiting to be discovered. This trust builds resilience, the kind of inner strength that does not depend on perfect conditions, but grows from weathering life's storms. Sometimes, allowing pain means letting tears fall, or sharing your feelings with a kind friend. It can mean resting when your heart feels heavy, or seeking help when you feel lost. These acts of kindness toward yourself are deeply healing. They remind you that you are worthy of love and care, no matter what you are feeling. Pain also teaches you to be present with others' suffering. When you have learned to allow your own pain, you become a presence of calm and understanding for those who are hurting. Your acceptance opens a door for connection and compassion, helping both yourself and others feel less alone in the world. The journey from resisting to allowing is not always smooth. There will be times when old habits pull you back into pushing away pain or judging yourself for feeling weak. These moments are part of the process. With each gentle return to acceptance, you deepen your practice and your peace. In all of this, remember the warmth of your own heart, the part of you that loves and wants freedom for yourself and all beings. This heart is your guide. Let it lead you toward acceptance, softness, and love in the face of pain. It is in this place that healing truly begins. So, the next time pain visits, pause. Notice where you might be resisting. Then, with kindness and courage, try allowing. Breathe into your discomfort and say softly, "I am here. I will stay with you." With time and patience, this simple act of acceptance becomes a doorway to freedom, showing you how pain is not the enemy, but a teacher leading you home to yourself. The wounds we carry in our hearts may feel heavy and overwhelming, but hidden within them lies a remarkable power. The power to transform, to change, to grow. It is not easy to see this when pain keeps pressing close, but in time, with gentle attention and courage, your wounds can become the soil from which wisdom and compassion rise. Turning wounds into wisdom is one of life's most profound gifts, a journey of alchemy where suffering is changed into light. When we first experience pain, especially deep emotional pain, it often feels like a dark cloud that blocks the sun. But beneath that cloud, there is a precious opportunity. The wound is a message from life itself, inviting you to learn, to heal, and to awake. Just as the earth after a storm is richer, the heart after suffering has the potential to be warmer, softer, and more understanding. The deeper the wound, the greater the chance for profound transformation. Many try to hide or deny their wounds, fearing vulnerability or rejection. Yet, it is through facing our wounds honestly that we begin to dissolve the walls that separate us from ourselves and from others. Each wound carries a lesson unique to your path, a lesson that can open the heart and mind to new ways of being. This is the alchemy of turning wounds into wisdom, where pain ceases to be only suffering and becomes a teacher of awakening. In Buddhism, this transformation is called turning poison into medicine. Pain, suffering, and weaknesses, the poisons of life, can become the medicine that cures our spiritual blindness and fear. The Buddha often taught compassion born from hardship, showing how pain can teach kindness and open us to love. When you nurture your wounds with patience and care, you make room for this medicine to take effect. The first step in this transformation is acknowledgement. You must look at your wounds with gentle honesty. Refuse to hide from them or grow angry at yourself for feeling hurt. Instead, hold your pain like a fragile child, with tenderness and kindness. When you accept your wounds, they begin to soften. This softening allows insight to arise. Insight into the nature of your pain and the ways it has shaped your thoughts and actions. Through mindfulness, you learn not to be overwhelmed by your wounds. You observe them clearly without being swept away. This clear seeing brings understanding. You may realize, for instance, that certain fears or patterns, like fear of rejection or a habit of self-criticism, were born in response to past pain. Recognition of these patterns gives you a choice: to continue reacting blindly or to respond with new wisdom and courage. Turning wounds into wisdom also involves forgiveness, both for yourself and for others. Forgiveness is not about condoning what caused your pain, but about freeing yourself from the heavy chains of anger and bitterness. It is a gift you give to your own heart, allowing it to breathe and heal. Forgiveness opens the door to peace and softens the sharp edges of suffering. As wounds become wisdom, compassion naturally grows. You begin to understand suffering not just as a personal burden, but as part of our shared human experience. This understanding dissolves the isolation pain often brings. You feel connected to others in a deeper way and develop a more loving heart. This compassion extends to yourself, allowing you to meet your own struggles with gentleness rather than judgment. The transformation from wound to wisdom is not quick. It is like the slow growth of a tree. Roots must take hold before branches reach the sky. Sometimes the process feels painful or confusing. You may revisit old wounds or feel raw again. These moments are part of healing, washing away what remains stuck so that new growth can emerge. Patience is essential during this time. Your wounds also teach you humility. They show you your limits and inspire gratitude for moments of health and happiness. This humility does not diminish your value, but deepens your connection to life. It allows you to walk more gently on your path and treat others with more kindness and respect. Humility is a wise friend on the road to freedom. Another aspect of this transformation is learning to speak your truth. Pain often silences us. It makes us fearful of being seen or heard. But healing involves finding your voice amid the silence. Sharing your story with trusted others can be freeing and empowering. It can break the loneliness that wounds often bring and invite healing through connection. The wounds you carry can also become sources of creativity and beauty. Many great works of art, music, and writing arise from places of pain. Your story, your healing journey, is a unique gift that can inspire and help others. This does not require public recognition or fame. It is simply about living your truth authentically and allowing your light to shine through the cracks. As you turn wounds into wisdom, you cultivate resilience, the quiet strength to face life's challenges without losing your balance. Resilience is not about pretending to be strong all the time, but about bouncing back gently and continuing forward with hope. This hope is born from the deep knowing that you can change and grow, no matter what life brings. The Buddha taught that all beings have the potential for awakening, that no wound or pain is beyond healing. This potential lives inside you now. Each step you take toward embracing and understanding your wounds brings you closer to this inner light. You become a living example of transformation, proof that suffering can become a bridge to love and freedom. So, be patient with your wounds. Hold them with kindness. Listen carefully to what they have to teach, and trust that in time, your pain will bloom into wisdom, your sorrow into compassion, and your struggles into strength. These gifts are your birthright, waiting quietly within you, ready to be awakened. Your journey from wound to wisdom is a sacred path, a path of healing, growth, and profound beauty. In life's journey, there is a profound teaching from Buddhism about emptiness, a word that often sounds scary or empty in our minds. But emptiness is not a hollow, dark void. Instead, it is a vast open space, welcoming and free, where we can let go of suffering and find true release. To understand emptiness is to begin to see the nature of all things, that nothing is fixed, nothing is permanent, and everything is connected in a delicate dance of change and flow. When you first hear the word emptiness, you might think it means loneliness or loss. But in Buddhist wisdom, emptiness points toward freedom, the freedom that comes from releasing the hold on things we grasp so tightly. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter your grip, the more the sand slips away. But if you open your hands gently, the sand stays. This is the way of emptiness. Opening your hands and heart to life as it is, without clutching or resisting. Emptiness reveals to us that our sense of a fixed self is an illusion. This does not mean we disappear or become nothing. It means that the self we think we are, separate, solid, unchanging, is a story created by the mind. When we realize this, we begin to understand that pain, suffering, joy, and love flow through us like waves in the ocean. We are part of a vast interconnected whole, not isolated islands. This understanding brings release. When you see that the pain you feel is not a permanent you, but a passing wave on the vast sea of existence, suffering becomes lighter. Like clouds passing through a wide, blue sky, your feelings come and go. Emptiness teaches you not to hold onto these clouds tightly, but to watch them with kindness and calm. The path to embracing emptiness is often through mindfulness and meditation. Sitting quietly, observing your thoughts and feelings as they arise and dissolve, helps you touch the truth of emptiness directly. You learn that everything changes moment by moment. Your breath, your thoughts, your sensations. Clinging to anything fixed becomes impossible and unnecessary. In Buddhism, emptiness is not emptiness without purpose. It is openness full of possibility. Think of a clear, empty cup. It looks simple, but it holds the power to contain anything. A warm tea, fresh water, or healing soup. Your heart, when emptied of grasping and fear, becomes like this cup, ready to receive love, peace, and joy freely and fully. This emptiness also brings a deep tenderness. When you let go of rigid ideas about yourself and the world, you become more compassionate. You understand that just like you, everyone struggles with pain and longing. This compassion flows naturally from the emptiness because there is no separation between self and other. There is only the shared experience of being alive. The teaching of emptiness can be hard to accept at first because our minds crave certainty and control. But the wisdom of emptiness invites you to trust the flow of life. It encourages you to surrender your tight grip on things and open to mystery and change. This surrender is not defeat. It is the doorway to true strength. Emptiness also reveals the preciousness of this moment. When you see that nothing lasts forever, you begin to cherish the here and now. This awareness helps you live more fully and deeply, appreciating every breath, every sensation, and every connection with others. Life becomes richer, more vibrant, and more meaningful. When pain arises, emptiness teaches you not to fight it, but to be with it gently. Feel the pain without fear or resistance, knowing that it too, like all things, will pass. This gentle allowance opens the heart to healing and brings a profound sense of peace, even amidst suffering. The Buddha's insight into emptiness is a guide for freedom. It offers a way to step out of the chains of fear, anger, and sorrow. By understanding the empty nature of all things, you begin to see the possibility for transformation and awakening in every moment. Emptiness is like the sky, vast, open, and spacious. No matter how many storms come, the sky remains unchanged beneath the clouds. When you rest in this spaciousness, your heart feels less burdened, and your mind grows calm and clear. Here, true healing happens. You may notice that emptiness brings balance. It is neither all joy nor all pain, but a gentle middle way that embraces both. This balance helps you navigate life's ups and downs with grace, kindness, and wisdom. In embracing emptiness, you also awaken to interconnectedness. You see that your actions, words, and thoughts touch others and the world around you in ways both visible and invisible. This awareness inspires you to live with greater care, kindness, and love. The path of emptiness is not about becoming empty in a sad or lonely way. It is about becoming open, alive, and free, like a clear and still lake. Your mind can reflect the beauty of life without distortion. This clarity brings joy, peace, and the deep understanding that you are exactly where you need to be. So, as you walk this path, remember to return often to the spaciousness of emptiness. Let it hold you in its gentle arms, soften your heart, and guide you toward release and freedom. In the emptiness, you find fullness, a fullness of peace, love, and endless possibility. Pain has a special way of opening our hearts to compassion. When we suffer deeply, a new door opens inside us, allowing kindness to grow. Compassion born from pain is gentle and real. It flows from a place where we no longer judge ourselves or others harshly, because we have touched the rawness of life's challenges firsthand. When you have felt sorrow, loss, or heartbreak, your heart learns what it means to be truly kind. Not just in words, but in presence and understanding. Think about how your heart softens when you meet someone else who is hurting. Suddenly, their pain is no longer distant or abstract. It feels personal because you recognize it from your own experience. This recognition nurtures a deep connection and makes you want to ease their suffering in whatever way you can. Compassion born from pain is like a bridge. It connects you to others through the shared dance of suffering and healing. In Buddhism, compassion is called karuna, a sacred quality that arises naturally when we meet suffering without turning away. It is not forced or learned by effort, but grows when the heart opens through experience. Pain cracks open the hard edges of ego, pride, and fear, making space for compassion to spread in gentle waves. It is this compassion that heals not only ourselves, but also those around us. This compassion asks us to be present with others in their suffering. It invites us to listen deeply without trying to fix or judge. Sometimes, just being there, quiet, steady, and kind, is the greatest gift we can offer. When we share this presence, healing begins in ways words cannot reach. The soft gaze of compassion can melt walls built by loneliness, anger, or shame. Compassion born from pain also changes how we see ourselves. We learn to treat our own wounds with kindness rather than harsh judgment. When you meet your own pain with warmth and acceptance, it becomes less frightening and more manageable. This self-compassion is an essential part of healing and growth, reminding you that you are worthy of love and care simply because you are human. Sometimes, pain makes us feel isolated, like we are the only ones suffering. But compassion breaks this illusion by revealing the deep truth. Suffering is universal. Everyone experiences pain in some form, and this shared experience connects us all. When you embrace this truth, feelings of loneliness diminish, replaced by a sense of belonging to a greater human family. The Buddha taught that compassion is inseparable from wisdom. True compassion sees clearly the nature of suffering and the path to freedom. It is not blind empathy, but a balanced understanding that brings thoughtful action. With this wisdom, compassion becomes a powerful force that can ease suffering both inside and outside of ourselves. Compassion also helps us forgive, both ourselves and others. When we understand the pain behind hurtful words or actions, we can let go of anger and resentment. Forgiveness is a gift of freedom, releasing the heavy chains that bind the heart. It allows love to grow where bitterness once lived. Developing compassion is a practice. It begins with small, simple acts, offering a smile, a kind word, or a helping hand. Over time, these acts build a compassionate heart that touches every aspect of life. Compassion transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for connection and healing. Pain teaches humility, reminding us that no one is perfect and that we all need kindness. This humility opens the door to compassion by softening pride and judgment. It helps us see others not as different or less than, but as fellow travelers on the path of life, each carrying their own burdens. Compassion born from pain also helps us face the darker parts of life with courage. Instead of turning away from suffering, we learn to welcome it as a chance to grow heart and soul. This courage is quiet but deep, anchored in the knowing that you are not alone, and that love can overcome even the hardest trials. In the silence of meditation, compassion gently unfolds. As you breathe deeply and calmly observe your thoughts and feelings, you begin to feel a natural warmth in your heart. This warmth is the blossom of compassion growing from the soil of pain and understanding. Let it spread through your body and mind, touching every corner of your being. Compassion is also a healing balm for the world. When you act out of genuine kindness born from pain, you create ripples of healing that reach far beyond what you can see. Each act of compassion helps build a more loving and peaceful world, starting with the small circle of your own life. Sometimes, compassion calls you to care not only for people, but also for the earth, animals, and all living beings. This broader compassion arises naturally when we see that all life shares the same vulnerability and desire to be free from suffering. Loving kindness becomes boundless. In cultivating compassion, remember to be patient with yourself. It is a path with many steps, sometimes forwards, sometimes back. Each moment you choose kindness over judgment, you strengthen the connection to your own heart and to the hearts of others. So, let your pain be the birthplace of compassion. Allow your suffering to soften your heart, open your eyes, and deepen your love. In this sacred space, you become a gentle light for yourself and all beings, shining brightly through life's shadows. Compassion born from pain is not just healing. It is the power to transform the world, one loving heart at a time. Pain and healing are closely intertwined. The path to healing often begins with mindfulness, the simple act of paying attention, right here, right now, with kindness and without judgment. Mindfulness is like a gentle light that shines on the dark corners of pain, allowing us to see clearly what is happening inside. When we practice mindfulness, we do not push away our suffering or pretend it is not there. Instead, we welcome it with open arms, like a caring friend arriving at the door. Healing through mindfulness is a journey of presence. It teaches us to be fully with whatever arises, whether it is pain, fear, sadness, or joy. This presence creates a safe space inside us, a space where we can rest and breathe even when life feels difficult. It is in this space that true healing begins, not because the pain disappears immediately, but because we learn to hold it with love and patience. In Buddhist teachings, mindfulness is one of the most powerful tools for transformation because it helps dissolve the stories and fears we often tell ourselves about pain. We may think that pain is a sign of failure or weakness, but through mindfulness, we see these thoughts as just passing clouds, not absolute truth. This clarity helps us step out of suffering caused by resistance and self-judgment. When pain surprises us with its strength, mindfulness gently reminds us to return to the breath, the anchor that keeps us steady amidst the storm. Watching the breath come and go brings us back to the present moment and calms the mind's racing thoughts. This simple practice connects us deeply to life as it is, moment by moment. Healing through mindfulness also means being curious about pain instead of fearful. When you notice pain in your body or heart, try to explore it with softness. What does it feel like? Where does it live in your body? How does it change as you breathe? This gentle exploration can reveal that pain is not as solid as it seems. It moves, shifts, and changes like clouds moving across the sky. The practice of mindfulness helps us break free from old patterns of avoidance or distraction. We learn to face pain directly while holding it with compassion. This courage is a gateway to healing. It shows us that pain, while real, is not all of who we are. Behind the pain is a stillness, a peace that waits patiently beneath the waves. Mindfulness also stretches beyond our own pain to include kindness for others. As we heal our own wounds, our hearts naturally open to the suffering of the world. We cultivate what Buddhism calls loving kindness, or metta, a warm, caring energy directed first to ourselves and then extended outward. This reaching out brings deep connection and more healing for all. Sometimes healing through mindfulness brings unexpected gifts. You may find new strength, new clarity, or a sense of freedom that was hidden beneath layers of pain. You might discover moments of joy in simple things: a warm sunbeam, the sound of birds, a kind smile. These moments are gentle reminders that life is always unfolding, always offering new chances for healing. Healing is not a quick fix, but a patient journey. There will be days when pain feels overwhelming, and days when peace comes softly. Mindfulness teaches us to accept this rhythm without trying to force change. It helps us trust that healing happens in its own time, nourished by our willingness to be present. Through mindfulness, you learn to become your own kindest friend. You learn the language of your own heart and body, listening deeply and responding with care. This friendship is the foundation of healing because it gives you safety and trust within yourself. The Buddhist teachings offer practical guidance for this healing path. Meditation, mindful breathing, gentle movement, and walking meditation are all ways to cultivate presence and openness. These practices help you build habits of mind that bring calm, clarity, and kindness even in difficult moments. Healing through mindfulness also means recognizing that we are not alone. We are part of a vast web of life, connected to countless beings who share similar challenges. This connection is a source of strength and comfort. It reminds us that healing is not just personal but communal, shared across time and space. As you continue to practice mindfulness, you begin to see how pain transforms from an enemy to a guide. It teaches patience, humility, and the deep truth that life is a dance of both joy and sorrow. With each breath, you learn how to move gracefully with these rhythms rather than resisting or fearing them. Mindfulness opens a door to forgiveness as well. When you sit with your pain without judgment, you begin to forgive yourself for past mistakes and forgive others who may have caused suffering. Forgiveness is not forgetting but freeing, a release that lightens your heart and opens space for healing love. In the heart of mindfulness lies a deep well of acceptance. This acceptance is not resignation, but a powerful embrace of what is. It allows you to face life's challenges with courage and gentleness, honoring your pain while not letting it define you. So, take your time on this path. Each mindful breath is a step toward healing. Each moment of kindness toward yourself is a seed of transformation. Healing through mindfulness is a gift you give yourself, a gift of presence, love, and freedom that grows stronger every day. Remember, you are not your pain. You are much more. You are the open sky in which the clouds of suffering come and go. Through mindfulness, you find your way back home to peace, to your true nature, where healing shines gently like the morning sun warming a quiet world. Life is a dance between opposites, joy and sorrow, light and dark, effort and surrender. Finding balance between these forces is one of the deepest teachings of Buddhism and one of the kindest gifts you can give to yourself. Walking the path of balance means learning to move gently between resisting and allowing, between holding on and letting go, between action and rest. It is a practice of harmony within, where the heart stays soft and the mind stays clear, no matter the storms outside. Imagine a tightrope walker high above the ground. To walk safely, they cannot lean too far to one side or the other. Too much resistance, too much pushing, and they lose their footing. Too much surrender or giving up, and they fall. Balance is a steady center, a place of calm mindfulness where every step is taken with care and awareness. This is how we walk the path with pain and healing, not by trying to force away discomfort nor by drowning in it, but by finding the middle way that holds both tenderly. In your daily life, this balance might mean different things. Balancing work and rest, action and patience, striving and acceptance. When pain arises, it is natural to want to rush away from it. Yet rushing often creates new struggles. Instead, balance invites you to pause, breathe, and find your ground. This grounding comes from being fully present, fully aware, and fully accepting of what is, while also trusting that things can and will change. This path of balance is gentle, not harsh. It asks for kindness toward yourself, including your weaknesses, your mistakes, and your moments of weakness. Balance thrives on self-compassion, allowing you to hold your pain without judgment and your joy without clinging. It is a way to honor your full human experience, knowing that every feeling has a place in your life's journey. The Buddha's teaching of the middle way is where this balance lives. It is the avoidance of extremes, neither indulging in pleasure nor punishing yourself with hardship. This middle way guides you to walk gently with life's ups and downs, with softness and strength in equal measure. It teaches us that suffering is real but not the final word, that joy is precious but not permanent, and that wisdom comes from embracing both. Balance also involves listening deeply to your body and mind. When your body feels tired, balance invites rest. When your mind feels scattered, balance invites calm. When your heart feels heavy, balance invites kindness and patience. By tuning into these signals, you walk a path of harmony that nurtures healing and well-being. In Buddhist practice, balance calls for mindful awareness in every action. Whether you are eating, walking, working, or resting, bring your full attention to the present moment. This awareness is like a gentle compass that guides you away from extremes and toward peace. It helps you notice when you are pushing too hard or withdrawing too much, and it gives you the freedom to adjust your path. This path is not about perfection. There will be times when you lose balance and fall into fear, anger, or despair. These moments are part of the human experience and the path of growth. The heart of balance is forgiveness of yourself and others, allowing you to get up gently and continue walking with greater awareness. Balance also teaches patience. Healing and growth take time. Sometimes the weight of pain feels too much for a single step, so the path invites small movements. One breath, one moment, one kind thought at a time. This patience is a quiet strength, a deep trust in the process of life unfolding. When balance is found, you begin to feel a quiet joy that no external circumstance can take away. This joy is grounded in acceptance and love, not dependent on constant happiness or success. It is steady and gentle, a light that guides you even in darkness. The middle way also deepens compassion. When you walk balanced, you see the struggles of others with more clarity and less judgment. You understand that everyone is trying to find their own balance in a world of uncertainty, and this empathy opens your heart wider. In relationships, balance calls for honest communication and gentle boundaries. It teaches you to give and receive with equal generosity. Balanced relationships nourish your soul and create safe spaces for healing and connection. Balance reminds you to keep your feet on the ground and your heart open to the sky. It invites you to move through life with grace, allowing for change and uncertainty while holding on to your center. This center is your true self, calm, clear, and free. Walking the path of balance is a lifelong journey. It grows with your daily practice, your challenges, and your triumphs. Every step taken with mindful care is a step toward freedom and peace. So, when life feels overwhelming, come back to balance. Breathe deeply, soften your heart, and find your steady middle. In this place, pain becomes a teacher, joy becomes a companion, and your spirit learns to dance with life's endless flow, beautiful, fragile, and whole. Pain is an experience we all carry at some point, but beyond the struggle and the heaviness, there is a place where pain no longer holds us captive. That place is freedom, a wonderful, gentle freedom that lies beyond pain, sorrow, and fear. It is the place where true healing happens, not by erasing pain, but by embracing it with open arms, allowing it to teach us and transform us. This is a freedom that the Buddha spoke about, the freedom from suffering through understanding, compassion, and awakening. Imagine the long journey of life, like a river flowing through mountains and valleys. There are times when the river rushes over rocks and crashes through storms, and times when it flows quietly and smoothly under the sun's warm light. The pain we feel is like the rocks in the river, sometimes rough, sometimes sharp, but all part of the river's path. The freedom lies not in avoiding the rocks, but in learning how to flow with them, to navigate their presence with grace and wisdom. This freedom beyond pain awakens when we finally understand the nature of suffering and embrace it with courage. It begins with acceptance, not giving up, but gently allowing life's challenges to be as they are without resistance. This acceptance does not mean we become passive. Instead, it is a powerful choice to live fully in each moment, open to whatever comes with kindness and strength. Here, in this freedom, we touch the truth that pain is temporary and that beneath all the changing feelings lies a stable, peaceful center, our true nature. This nature is not separate from pain, but embraces it as part of the whole. Like the sky that holds the clouds, Your true self holds every feeling with vast openness and calm. The Buddha's teaching of liberation shows us that pain need not define us, limit us, or break us. With deep understanding, we see that suffering arises because of attachment, craving, and false ideas about who we are. Letting go of these attachments is the key to freedom. It is a journey of peeling away illusions to find the pure light of awareness shining beneath. In this freedom, compassion flows freely, starting with yourself. You learn to meet your wounds with gentleness and love, forgiving yourself for moments of weakness and sorrow. Self-compassion is a balm that soothes the deepest pain and invites healing to bloom. Beyond self-compassion, this freedom opens your heart to others in a profound way. You recognize that all beings are on a similar journey, carrying their own pain and seeking relief. This recognition breeds deep empathy and kindness. Your acts of love, no matter how small, become ripples that spread healing through the world. Freedom also brings peace. A deep peace that does not depend on circumstances, but blooms from within. Even in moments of difficulty, this peace remains like a steady flame, guiding you through darkness. It is the peace that comes from knowing you are alive, connected, and part of a larger whole. Walking beyond pain requires patience and trust. Healing unfolds in its own time, often slowly and gently. Sometimes you will feel progress, and sometimes you may feel stuck. Both are part of the journey. Trust the process and yourself. Knowing each experience brings you closer to freedom. In the space beyond pain, joy is not something distant or rare. It is found in simple moments. The warmth of sunlight on your face, the smile of a friend, the quiet breath that anchors you to the present. This joy is not constant happiness, but a deep contentment that holds life's ups and downs with balance and grace. The path to freedom also invites continual growth. Each moment, each challenge, is an opportunity to deepen your wisdom, your compassion, and your courage. Life becomes a sacred dance of awakening, where pain and joy move together in harmony. Remember, you are not alone on this path. Many have walked before you, and many walk beside you now. The Buddhist teachings, the Sangha community, and your own inner guidance are there to support you. Together, these light the way toward freedom. So, when the weight of pain feels too heavy, turn your gaze inward to this place of peace and freedom. Breathe deeply, soften your heart, and remember the truth that you are more than your suffering. You are the vast sky, the deep ocean, the gentle earth, unceasing, full of possibility, and infinitely free. Finally, dear one, before this journey ends, a small but heartfelt request. If this sharing has touched your heart, please remember the gift of spreading this wisdom. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. There are so many views, but only 0.3% subscribe. Your support allows these gentle teachings to reach far and wide, to heal, to inspire, and to spark freedom in countless hearts. May your path be smooth enough for learning and rough enough for growth. May your heart remain open, soft, and brave. And may you find the freedom that is already within you. The freedom beyond pain, beyond fear, beyond everything but love. You are deeply loved. You are deeply free. You are home.